Not 6 hours or so after we posted our Wednesday episode, things finally came to a head on the Eastern Front out in Europe. Russia began its attack on Ukraine and fighting is currently underway. I'm sure you've heard about this by now. Here's the thing. There's a lot of footage, there's a lot of claims making its way around the internet right now. Footage of battles, reports of casualties. Here's the thing. Propaganda is in full swing at this point on both sides. There is a lot that we haven't had confirmed. There is a lot of footage out there that's fake footage. There's a lot of numbers being reported that aren't real numbers. It's really hard to discern what's fact and what's purely, again, propaganda meant to increase the morale of both sides in this conflict. That is why I went out and found a Russian person who I'm currently interrogating, trying to get some accurate information about what's going on over there.
You capitalist pig dogs! He tried to take my vodka! I like it rough, but not that rough!
Nikolai, you don't get okay? You don't eat, you don't sleep, you just stay there. Russians. What are you gonna do? But in all seriousness, this has been really kind of a make or break moment for the Ukrainian people right now, who are banding together, soldiers and civilian alike. They're really giving it to the Russians as best they can, which honestly is one of the most inspirational things I've certainly seen come out of Europe in a very long time. You know, when we saw the fall of Afghanistan, right, you saw photos of tens of thousands of people, you know, swarming the airports, trying to escape the Taliban. And there were certain criticisms coming from political commentators out there talking about, why should we defend a country that isn't willing to defend itself? That's, of course, operating under the assumption that Afghanistan was ever an actual nation, rather than just a desert sort of no man's land out there that exists, that's basically just composed of a bunch of different power factions fighting for control at any given moment. But Ukraine is proving right here that they are in fact a nation, that they are in fact a people, and that they are going to fight to the very end for what's theirs, their homes, their lives, and their right to life. You know, looking at this sort of thing right now, it does make me beg the question, do we as a nation, as an American nation, possess that kind of resolve? You know, in World War II, the reason that Japan didn't try a land incursion was because they knew the entire population was armed. But if something like that were to happen today, if Russia were to storm the beaches of Miami and California and begin an invasion here, would we have the kind of resolve that the Ukrainian people seem to have? Would we band together, fight together, bleed together, die together? I'm not so sure. Not on a mass scale. Because isolationism, when it comes to foreign politics, is not something that stops merely at foreign politics. We are an isolated society. We do operate on a live for today, fight for me kind of mentality in a very widespread way. We're not seeing that out of Ukraine right now, and that is very inspiring. And it is very inspiring to see the president of Ukraine, President Zelensky, be offered to be evacuated out of Ukraine by our government. One good thing that they've done so far, and for him to say, no, I'm going to stay. I don't need an evacuation, I need ammunition, right? It is very inspiring, to say the least. Not to mention that Ukraine is outmanned and outgunned when it comes to Russia by a rather significant margin. At this, you know, honestly, I am surprised. I mean, it's been, 4 or 5 days now since Russia launched its invasion. I thought it would have been over by now. Hand to God, I thought it would have been over by now. I thought within 48 hours of Russia invading Ukraine that the conflict would have been resolved, that Russia would have kicked Ukraine's ass. And they haven't. Not just yet. Again, obviously, we don't know the exact numbers of anything at this point, so I can just give you the highlights, more or less. Well, let's get on the sanctions situation first when it comes to Russia, shall we?